Hi everybody, I'm Michael and this is the Canon EOS R6 Mark II. I've got the camera for a few weeks now, and while using the camera I noticed some settings that you may not have noticed yet, and that's why I would like to show you a few helpful settings here. The camera is connected to my recorder and you should be able to see the screen right here. First of all, a tip from how to navigate through the menu. You can use the touch screen or you can scroll through the menu with the different wheels. The Q button on the back behaves like the top thumb wheel and jumps directly through the next main category. Let's get to the first helpful setting, which also causes differences in the community: closing the shutter when turning off the camera. This means that when the camera is switched off, the shutter closes and protects your sensor from dust. It is of course very helpful when you change lenses, but you have to be a bit careful because it's not a very stable protection. The shutter is very fragile, which is why you can't touch it at any time. In my opinion, it's still very helpful, which is why I have activated it for myself. You just have to be a little bit careful. You can find it in the menu. Just go to the yellow setup menu. On page 5 you will find Shutter at Shutdown. When you open up this menu, you can choose Close and Open. Set this to Close, and whenever you turn off the camera, the shutter will be closed. The next option will help you to move the autofocus point with the joystick. If you're not using the touchscreen, then this is a very helpful setting to be able to position the AF point very quickly and accurate. If this is not yet activated for you, just go to the menu. On the orange custom menu on page 3, go to Customize Buttons, go down and select the multi-controllers, and then select the function Direct AF Point Selection. From now on you can easily move the focus point with the little joystick. The next point is for people with glasses. With the large viewfinder you may not be able to see the entire viewfinder image because of the distance, so the corners will disappear. There's also a setting for this. You can simply display the viewfinder image a little bit smaller. To do this, go to the menu, the red recording menu on page number 9, go to VF Display Format, and choose display number 2. Display number 2 makes the viewfinder image a little bit smaller, as you can see it in the preview. If you have general problems with the menu or the font size, you can easily change this by getting in the menu. On the yellow settings menu, go to page number 4 and choose UI magnification. If you enable this, it gives you the possibility to enlarge the menu by double tapping with 2 fingers on the screen. Unfortunately, I can't show you this directly on the screen because the touchscreen is blocked during HDMI recording, but you just have to double tap on the menu screen with 2 fingers to enlarge the display. If you double tap again, you will return to the normal screen size. The next one is also about the viewfinder. You can optimize the viewfinder performance and make the picture appear a little bit smoother. Go to the menu. In the red shooting menu on page number 9, you will find display performance. Open this up. Normally it's on power saving mode. If you choose smooth, you have much more frame rate. It goes up to 120 FPS. With the info button you can activate suppress lower frame rate, but first a small warning. Avoiding a lower frame rate can lead to lower image display brightness in poorer lighting conditions. In addition, you can get problems with automatic focusing, lower accuracy of flicker detection, lower accuracy of subject recognition, and lower metering precision. Also, more energy is needed, so the battery doesn't last that long. So you better keep the checkmark disabled. And while we are at the viewfinder and the display, I will show you a few exposure simulation settings. Just get to the red shooting menu again. On page number 9 you will find display simulation. Here you can change between 3 different simulations and disable it too. Normally it's in exposure mode. You can also enable the optical viewfinder simulation with the setting OVF Sim View Assist on. This simulates the optical viewfinder and shows you the image like you were looking through an optical viewfinder of an DSLR camera. Your camera settings therefore have no effect on the display or the viewfinder image. This is especially useful when used with a manual flash, for example, but it can also mess up the picture if you accidentally activate it. For example, if you under or overexpose an image and enable the simulation, it still looks normal exposed. Be careful with this setting. Let's go to some basic autofocus settings. In the menu you will find tons of options to configure the autofocus. First of all, go to the menu. In the pink autofocus menu on page number 1, set AF operation to servo. This is for continuous autofocusing during focusing on a subject. Subject to detect can be set to auto, people, animals, vehicles and none. This is a priority selection, which means that even if animals are selected, a person can be recognized if there's no animal in the picture. You can enable eye detection and choose which eye should be focused or just leave this in auto. The auto setting should always choose the eye nearer to the camera. In general, the autofocus can be set up in great detail, but more on that in another video. You can also easily adjust the focus point by touching and dragging it on the touchscreen, for example while looking through the viewfinder, but you have to activate this in the menu first. To do this, go to the menu. In the pink autofocus menu on page number 4, you will find the point touch and drag AF settings. Set this to enable and then everything can be configured here, like active touch area and the sensitivity of the touchscreen. You just should be careful that you don't change the AF point with your nose by accident. Then there are some users who like to separate the focus function from the shutter button and then focus with another button and use the shutter release button just to release the shutter. This is called back button focus and you can set it as followed. On the orange custom menu on page number 3, you will find customize buttons again. Select the shutter button half press and set this to metering start. You have then already separated the autofocus from the shutter button and the camera will no longer focus if the shutter button is pressed halfway. By default, the focus start is also set on the AF on button on the back of the camera, which means you have to press this button for the camera to focus. Some people like to use this way to focus. I'm not a fan of that, but now you know how to set up if you want to. If you want to focus manually, then the camera offers you a few little helpers here. Just go to the menu. In the pink autofocus menu on page number 5, you will find MF peaking settings. You can set this to on and configure the level and the color of the peaking. If you go back, you also can activate focus guide. With the focus guide on, you can set the focus very precisely. You just have to get the arrows on top of each other. With that, you have some very good assistance in manual focusing. Especially in video mode, you have the option to adjust the autofocus so that it does not shift the focus when the subject leaves the frame. To do this, get in the video mode and go to the menu. Then go to page number 1 in the pink autofocus menu. Choose Movie Servo Autofocus and change Subject Detection AF to Detection Only. If you configure it like this, you can, for example, leave the frame and the camera will not automatically focus on the background. This is great for video, for example, in an interview situation. Then we get to the image review in the playback section. You can activate an automatic image review so you can take a picture. It will be displayed on the screen directly after your shot. Just get in the menu. In the red shooting menu on page number 8, you will find image review. You can choose the review direction from 2, 5, 8 seconds or hold. On hold, the image will be viewed until you press a button. In addition, viewfinder display can be enabled if the review should also be displayed in the viewfinder, because otherwise it's only shown in the back display. You may have already noticed that vertical images are also displayed vertical in the camera screen. Even if you turn the camera, this doesn't change the view, which means you're wasting a lot of space on the screen. If you prefer to see the picture completely on the screen, but laying on its side, you can also activate this in the menu. In the yellow settings menu, on page number 1, you will find Auto Rotate. Just turn this to on with the PC only. The image is then shown to you on a full display. You just have to turn the camera. And then there is another helpful setting for image playback, because you can display the used AF point in the picture. To activate this, go to the menu. In the blue playback menu, go to page number 7 and enable AF point display. The focus point will then be shown in every image, so you can check very well and easily if the camera has focused on the right position. And then something about zooming the image on the display. You can also configure this, and this is a very helpful option. Go to the menu. In the blue playback menu on page number 5, you will find the point magnification. You can choose a magnification between 2, 4, 8 and 10 times or the actual size. With the actual size selected, you have a 100% zoomed view of your image, so you can rate your picture quality very well. You can also choose between magnification to the focus point or to the center of the image in the magnified position setting. And then we get to a few helpful operating settings. Let's start directly with the quick menu of the multifunction button, the MFN button on top of the camera. You may have already noticed that when you press the MFN button, a small helpful menu opens and you can switch between different options. And you can also customize this menu. Just go to the menu on the orange custom menu. On page number 3 you will find customize buttons again. Just switch to the multifunction button, select dial function and press info. 10 elements can now be selected and configured here. And then you have the other quick menu, which can be reached by pressing the Q button on the back of the camera. And of course you can customize this too. Just go to the menu. In the red shooting menu on page number 8 you will find customize quick controls. Just select edit layout. You then can select 11 items here. By pressing info, the elements can be arranged according to your ideas. This is very helpful for a quick access to different settings. In video mode, the quick menu also offers you more pages, but you have to activate them first. To do this, go to the video mode and open the menu. In the red recording video on page number 8, you will find quick control screen. Activate the second option here, then select OK and go back to your screen. If you then press the Q button and press the button again, your quick menu for video will open. You can switch between the pages by touch or with the upper wheels. And if you're on the video side, then remember the camera offers you a top false color display for exposure. To activate this, go to the red recording menu in the video mode on page number 7. There you have the option for false color settings. You can activate the false color setting and the index shows you which color represents which exposure exactly. And with that you should be able to expose your videos very easy. Then we get to 2 other interesting functions that the camera has got. The first feature is the RAW burst mode with 0.5 seconds pre-shooting. This means that if you press the shutter button halfway down, the camera will start buffering images. If you then press the shutter button all the way down, the images from the past 0.5 seconds will be saved. You can activate the RAW burst mode in the menu. Just go to the red shooting menu. On page number 6, you will find the RAW burst mode. Enable this one and also enable the pre-shooting. Important, the whole mode is only possible with the electronic shutter. When you've recorded a series of pictures, you can open it in the camera and then select your desired picture and save them in a RAW file. The second interesting function is focus bracketing. You will find the function in the menu in the red shooting menu. On page number 6 you will find focus bracketing. There is the number of images and more configuration possible. You just have to know you will only get one composed JPEG image out of the camera. The single RAW files are only available on your memory card and you have to put them together by yourself with your own software. To get back to video, the camera offers you the opportunity to take some great slow motion shots at 180 frames per second. But you won't find this in the normal movie recording size menu. You have to activate it separately. For this, the high frame rate option must be activated. Just go into the red shooting or recording menu, go to page number 1 and select high frame rate, enable. Then go to movie rec size and select FHD 179.8p. This gives you the 180 frames per second. With this, great slow motion videos can be created. And then 3 general setting tips. You can disable or customize all camera sounds. If you are as annoyed as I am by the camera sounds, you will find it in the menu under the yellow settings menu. On page number 3 you will find beep. If you disable this, all camera sounds will be disabled. If you leave this enabled, the volume for individual sounds can be adjusted under volume. Another tip: if you should forget to insert a memory card from time to time, you can disable the shutter when no memory card is in the camera. Go to the red shooting menu on page number 7. You will find Release Shutter Without Card. Set this to off and the shutter will not release when no card is inserted. This is a great help against forgetting to insert a memory card. And then one more tip for formatting the memory card. I've often read about problems with the memory card because it ended up being formatted incorrectly. Just go to the yellow settings menu. On page number 1 you will find Format Card. This is easy but sometimes helps a lot. And finally, a tip about the My menu. In the green My menu you can save some menu settings for faster access, for example such functions as shutter mode. Just save your favorite menu functions for quick access without searching the whole menu. That's all. Like, subscribe and bye.